Hey guys, StandardVR here to talk a little bit today about the Mega Dimension DLC for Pokemon Legends ZA. So fair warning, there will be spoilers in this video because we are talking exclusively about the new Mega Evolutions that you find in the DLC. If you don't want to know about these Mega Evolutions, if you want to discover them on your own, please click off this video now. And if you're ready to stick around and look at the stat distributions that these new Megas get, to get my personal tier ranking on these Megas. Now, is that strictly ranked? Not really. It's also going to be a little bit of my personal preference, but we're going to do a bit of a tier list video today on these new Mega Evolutions now that we have the stats for the Mega Dimension DLC. And guys, if you are interested in Legends ZA content, whether that be battles, news, all that kind of fun stuff, drop a sub, stick around, and let's get into it. Here we go. Alright, so first up, we have the Raichu Mega Evolutions. They do have a split evolution in the DLC. They got Raichu X and Raichu Y. Looks like they both are retaining their electric typing, which I kind of am a big fan of. Would I have liked to see like electric flying? Maybe. You could do some cool stuff with dual typings with electric. But, you know, Raichu, Pikachu, historically, I would say they've always been electric, but Alolan Raichu got that psychic typing. But either way, let's look at Raichu X. It's got a huge boost to 135 attack. It gets a 40-point boost to defense, a 15-point boost to special defense. So this thing really goes into kind of like Palmot range. That being said, I don't know like how great it's going to be in ranked because 135 attack is not that high when you're talking Mega Evolutions. So it's really going to need some stat boosts or like an absolutely busted signature move since abilities aren't in this game. And that's kind of my thoughts on Raichu X. I think Raichu Y is looking a whole lot better as far as ranked viability. It does get an attack boost, which is kind of like unused points for the most part. And its special attack jumps to 160. They give this thing like the Feraligatr treatment. This thing gets so much special attack. It's absolutely ridiculous. And its speed gets boosted to 130, so you're not going to have to put too much investment to get the optimal cooldowns, which is super nice. Raichu Y, I feel like, is going to be the new electric type in the meta. That being said, Ampharos probably still has a spot because it sets screens, and it's a little bit bulkier because it doesn't get any investment to bulk once it Mega Evolves to Y. But this thing's gonna be an absolutely just a ridiculous cannon. So let's look a little bit. So Mega Raichu X and Y. I believe this one's X. So here's the thing. I'm putting it in the C tier, and I'm going to tell you why. This thing has, like, big Gorcho, like, energy. If you don't know, it was, like, a scrapped, like, evolution early days. So I like the design-wise of this thing. I'm a big fan of electric types. I'm a big fan of the Raichu line. Not so much Pikachu. I'm not a big fan of Pikachu, but, like, Raichu, definitely Gen 1, the little chubby boy. It's been great. I love Raichu. Now, Mega Raichu Y. For now, we are actually going to put this up in the A tier because I think electric types are still going to be super viable and ranked. And that 160 special attack, like, jeez. Throw a Nasty Plot on top of that. Throw like a Calm Mind on top of that. I think it's going to absolutely cook things. So, there's your Raichus. Next up, we got the Chimecho. This is such a cool design Mega Evolution. It gets Psychic Steel, so kind of like a Metagross. It gets a big boost to defense, a big boost to special defense, and its special attack jumps to 135, which isn't super strong, like we just talked about with the physical attack with Raichu X, which also to note, it's going to be really hard to use like a physical Raichu. But, you know. So Chimecho kind of has to contend with a Metagross with a Psychic Steel typing. The special attack is a very nice boost to it, and it's already bulky, but like its HP stat is a lot lower than Metagross. Chimecho has always been kind of more of a support Pokemon. Design-wise, though, I think it's really cool. But that being said, I don't think it's going to be like great in ranked. But I do think that this thing gets like B tier just because of its design. To me, like the cool like hoops with the bells and everything. It's got all the bells and whistles, you know what I mean? So moving on, we have the Mega Absol Z, which gets an absolutely fantastic defensive typing of Dark Ghost when it goes to Z, and it's also got those like super fast output of moves like with almost 0 cooldown, which is absolutely ridiculous. You put I think like 76 points in speed, which is what I do to get like it's like I think an even 4-second cooldown on a lot of its moves for regular Absol form. But this thing's attack jumps to 154, which is insane, and it has a 151 speed tier, which means those moves are going to be firing off so quickly, especially paired with that Z Mega Evolution, which basically means it has no cooldown on its moves. And this thing is only weak to fairy types, I do believe, with the Dark Ghost typing. This is like if Sableye had teeth kind of thing. This is such a good offensive mon. This is going to tear through the meta, and honestly, the design is so cool. I mean, they took Absol and made it even more edgelord. So where is my Mega Absol? There he is. Sorry, I lost him. I'm putting Mega Absol. You know what? I'm putting it up here in the S tier. It's just a glass cannon, you know what I mean? And I think that's what it does best. Like, it doesn't have great defenses, you know, 60s, and then it's got a 65 HP. So it's going down fast, but that's kind of what this Z Mega Evolution is meant to do. It's to come in at your full Mega Bar and just start one-shotting things, just taking things off the map. And I really love that playstyle. So I am putting Mega Absol Z up there in the S tier because especially when having one weakness, I think this thing has a lot of cool builds that you can do with it. But we will find out once that ranked ladder hits. Then we have Mega Staraptor, which I've already seen. That's a +1, has already been doing some tours with these new DLC mods, in case you didn't know. Check it out if you want to use these, since you can't use them on ranked ladder yet. But Mega Staraptor gets a fighting flying type instead of its normal flying type, which we've all known it's a fighting flying type. I don't know anyone who hasn't run close combat on Staraptor since day one. It gets a nice boost to attack with 140, a nice 30-point boost to defense, a nice 30-point boost to special defense, a 10-point boost to special attack for some reason, and its speed jumps to 110. So it's got a nice spread, you know. Staraptor has never been the most competitively viable mon, but this thing with stab close combat, stab brave birds, like, this thing's gonna absolutely cook the competition. Move over, Skarmory. This is gonna be your new bird in town. I think this thing's really cool. Again, another kind of edgelord Pokemon with the whole emo hairstyle. I'm putting this thing in the A tier. I'm not a huge bird fan, to be honest, but I can't deny that this guy's cool factor. So Mega Staraptor, it's going in the A tier. So next up, we have the Mega Garchomp Z. This one has not been released yet. I'm sure it's going to be in some kind of event. This thing loses some defense, which is not great, and it boosts its special attack up to 141 and hits that nice 151 speed tier. This thing's going to be a monster. It also notably drops its ground typing, so it's just dragon, which means those ice type moves, they're only going to be super effective. They're not going to be doing 4 times the damage. So like Bulky Chomp, it's going to kind of work, you know, if you get that mega up, it could work. And I really like the fact, that this thing can be built as a mixed sweeper. You could run Earthquake, you can run Earth Power, you can run Draco Meteor, and it's going to, I mean, you could run Draco Meteor on Chomp before, but like this Mega Z Chomp with Draco Meteor that has almost like 0 cooldown reduction, this is going to be absolutely insane. You could like just drop Earthquakes, Earth Powers, Draco Meteor, and the map's gone. Like, what do you do? I mean, I guess Skarmory, that's your problem. Skarmory is going to be your problem. But I think this mon is absolutely busted, and I think it's one of my new favorite Megas. I mean, obviously Mega Chomp is always a favorite around here, but we are putting that up in the S tier because that's going to make Chomp so ridiculously busted in the ranked ladder. And who doesn't love a Garchomp? I mean, kind of like flying sand shark mon. It just looks cool, you know? All right, then we've seen this one released, Mega Lucario Z. Still fighting steel. It's got that 164 special attack, which is absolutely redonkulous. With that, apparently their new favorite speed tier, which is 151, which isn't great for speed ties once we start talking like VGC and like regular singles battle, but it's not too relevant in Legends ZA. I do like the Mega Lucario Z design. I do think I've talked a little bit about how I like it a little bit better than the regular Mega Lucario, just because I kind of like the blue, kind of Anubis feel to it. I am going to put this thing up in the S tier because I think Fighting Steel is still a really good type, and the coverage that Lucario gets is insane. So I think this thing is still going to be super viable in ranked, and it's just Lucario's always a fan favorite design. And then we're getting into the new Mega Legendaries, which I wasn't aware that they were doing this. And this is crazy. They're taking these mons that are already busted and just taking them to another level. So you got that Mega Heatran. This thing's attack boosts to 120 for some reason, but the special attack though, that special attack, it jumps to 175 with a 141 special defense. It does get a little bit slower, but like, you're a Heatran, you're not moving too fast anyways. Magma Storms are going to cook things. Like, this thing isn't going to have any switch-ins with that 175 special attack. It is absolutely ridiculous. If this thing ever is allowed, I mean, it will be allowed in ranked, but when it is allowed in ranked, it's going to be a problem. That being said, Mega Heatran, I don't really vibe with the design, but here's the thing. I like Heatran, so it's going in the A tier. I think this thing's going to be an absolute menace once the ranked ladder hits. Next up, we have a Mega Darkrai, which gets kind of just boosts across the board. I didn't notice this upon first look, but this thing gets a 40-point drop in speed. It drops all the way to 85. So if this thing ever hits, like in Champions, if this thing hits like standard play, you're probably never really going to see it. I mean, maybe you see a Mega Darkrai here and there, but like that 85 speed tier, really I feel like kind of just neuters the Darkrai. But let's talk about how much bulkier this thing gets. It jumps from 90 in defense and special defense to 130, which is absolutely ridiculous. This thing was already hard to take down in one hit. It had decent bulk, especially with that 90, kind of 90 across the board. 70 HP isn't great, but like a good high-mid defense and special defense. So very hard to take down in one hit. And then it gets its attack and special attack boosts, 120 to attack and 165 special attack. If this Mega Darkrai gets hold of you with a Dark Pulse, you're done. Like, that's it. That being said, I don't like the design of Mega Darkrai. I'm gonna tell you right now, this weird like blimpy design, I don't like it. I don't vibe with it. I do like Darkrai. I don't like the fact that it gets slower. I don't think it gets strong enough to have the drop in speed, even though 85 it's a decent speed tier, but I would prefer just a regular Darkrai, to be honest. I don't vibe with the design. I don't really care for the stat distribution. So we're putting that in the D tier. It's just kind of where it is. Love Darkrai as a Pokemon. Don't love Mega Darkrai. At least at first glance. That's what I'm looking at. So then we got Mega Golurk. Mega Golurk is a cool mon. I mean, Golurk is a cool mon, and I wish it was so much more viable in standard play. But this thing, Mega Golurk, its attack jumps to 159. It gets a nice defense and Spadef boost to 105. And special attack goes to 74 for some reason. So this thing just becomes it literally just becomes a better Golurk. I think this thing will actually be very good in ranked. That being said, Darkrai is going to, or not Darkrai, but Absol is going to give it problems. So this thing's going to hit like super hard with Earthquakes, Poltergeists, all that kind of stuff. I absolutely really love Mega Golurk. I absolutely kind of adore Mega Golurk. Mega Golurk, or Golurk in general, has always kind of been a fan favorite of mine. So, but we're going to put this in the C tier. I don't think it's going to be super viable. I think there's still better ground types. I don't think Ghost really helps it out all that much. But we shall see once they are allowed on ranked. Now, the Mega Meowstic. I didn't know this thing was getting Mega. This thing's special attack skyrockets to 143 with a Spadef boost to 101 and a speed to 124, which means it gets a lot faster. Meowstic has always been one of those mons that I feel like it should be better. And I think giving it a Mega is going to give it a chance to shine. And I am down for the Mega Meowstic. I think this is a solid B tier mon as far as psychic types go. I like how they kind of merged the two genders of the Meowstic into one Meowstic design, kind of like a toothpaste kind of looking guy with the Colgate. I know it's like red too, but you know what I'm saying. I think this design is cool. I vibe with it. I think it could be viable in ranked. Psychic types are decent enough, but we shall see. So that brings us to Mega Crabominable. Now let me tell you, I just got to the side quest where you have to fight the 2 Mega Crabominable. This thing is goofy looking as all get out. It does get a huge boost to attack to 157, 122 defense, 107 SpDef, and it gets even slower for some reason. They go, hey, this mon's super slow. You know what would be funny is if we made it slower. I don't like the design of this thing. I do think fighting in ice is a really cool typing though, but I think this is going to be down in the D tier with Darkrai. I'm not vibing with it. Looks too goofy. And that side mission kind of tore me up. So that leads us to Golisopod. This thing gets that bug steel typing. It gets that Scizor treatment. And if you don't Mega, you retain your water typing, so fire is neutral. Like, this is kind of ridiculous. With a 150 attack, 175 defense, and a 120 SpDef. This thing is absolutely insane. And without that emergency exit ability, means it can stay in and fight. I think this thing gets, like, bulk up. It's going to be a menace. You've seen bulky waters before. You're about to see a bulky water steel that's, like, kind of weirdly different even than Empoleon. I think this mon's going to be really cool. Golisopod is honestly one of the coolest bug types. I mean, look at this guy, like this samurai guy. I think the guy's going to be really good, but he's going in a B tier for me. That's just where he's going. That's where he's going. I'm not a huge bug fan. I'm not a huge Golisopod fan, but I think it's going to be a menace. Then we have that Mega Magearna. 125 attack, 170 special attack, and a 95 speed. This thing gets even more dangerous. I'm not a fan of Magearna. I'm going to say that right now. I know this mon is absolutely cracked, which is why it's going in the A tier with Heatran. The gold color looks cool. I'm just not a Magearna fan. That's just what it is. So that's why it's there. So next up, we have the Mega Zeraora, which gets that 157 attack treatment with the 147 special attack and the 153 speed. This thing is going to be an absolute demon. You know how we were talking earlier in the video about how Mega Raichu was going to be the new electric type in the meta, which honestly they're probably not going to let Legends into the next season. So Mega Raichu still has a shot. Whenever Zeraora hits the field, whenever they hit the ranked ladder, this thing is going to be an absolute menace. And not to mention design-wise, this thing, like, it looks cool. I mean, look at this. I know it's looks, right? Shh, don't tell anybody. This thing's going up in S tier. I think this thing is just going to absolutely define so much of the meta with the strong electric typing. I think it still gets close combat. It's going to be ridiculous. Then, next up, we got the Mega Skullvillain. Skullvillain is a really cool mon. And the boost to attack and special attack with a little bit of extra bulk, I think Mega Skullvillain is going to be an absolute menace in ranked. That fire grass typing is so good. That way you take like neutral to earthquakes. You're not the bulkiest guy in the world, but I think you can definitely do something with it. And the design, you know what? The design looks cool. The kind of like angry dragon thing that's got going on. I'm putting this in the C tier with Golurk and Raichu. I personally love these designs. I just don't think they're going to be great in the ranked ladder, which is why they're getting that C tier treatment. Next up, we have something that I'm super excited about. I love Glimmora so much. So Mega Glimmora, this thing was not on my radar at all. So the 90 attack doesn't matter. 105 defense and a 96 SpDef with the 101 speed. And the boost of special attack to 150? I'm going to be using this mon. Rock Poison isn't the greatest in the meta, especially a ground-dominated meta, especially a bulky water-dominated meta. But I am telling you, this thing is going to cook some mons. I love Glimmora and Mega Glimmora. I think the design is so neat. I'm putting this up. I'm not, actually, you know what? I'm going to be fair. It's going in the B tier. I know this thing's not going to be great. I'm going to use it because it's a favorite of mine. But it's going to do well. Then, the Mega that I think nobody was really wanting. And correct me if I'm wrong. Mega Tatsugiri. Everyone's so tired of Dozo. Tatsugiri gets hate for no reason. But I think Tatsugiri is a neat mon. I don't love the design of the Mega, but it does get some pretty evenly distributed stats across the board. A nice little bump to speed to 92. It gets to 125 SpDef, which is a lot. 90 defense, 65 attack, and 135 special attack, so it gets even stronger. Again, this is a good just Draco Meteor mon. This is a decent mon into, like, you know, Garchomps and stuff, sort of. Your freeze drives from Glaceon, this thing's gone. You know what I mean? So for that being said, I think that Tatsugiri is a C tier mon. I'm just letting you know. That's my thoughts on it. I think it's a C tier mon. So that's where it's going. And then the Mega Baxcalibur, which we did a video on. It's the attack boost to 175. Guys, listen, the attack boost to 175, that's a little ridiculous. Game Freak, Pokemon, TPCI. The 175 attack boost is so scary. I was doing some calcs, and already with like Yachi Berry with Baxcalibur before it Mega Evolves, you still have a shot to Oko some Garchomps. Like, when this thing is legal, it is basically Godzilla in Tokyo. Like, it's just going to start just menacing the battlefield. A 117 defense and 101 speed depth, which means this guy is super bulky as well. We're not going to talk about the fact that they gave this mon 105 special attack, which means that you could run Draco Meteor on it, and it could still pick up some KOs. I think this mon's going to be really cool with like Icicle Crash, Earthquake, just Dragon Rush. Standard Dragon set, basically like a Garchomp, but possibly even better. Like, this mon is absolutely ridiculous. And it looks cool. It's got the sword and everything. You know what I mean? It's just got that whole kaiju vibe. I'm putting this thing up in S tier. I think this is going to redefine the meta once it hits the field. So guys, this is my tier ranking of the newly released Mega Evolutions for the Legends ZA DLC Mega Dimensions. Feel free to argue with me in the comments. Let me know what your favorite Megas are and which ones you are most excited about to use in Ranked. And guys, if you've made it this far in the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and as always, have a great day. Peace.